Some days we just live on autopilot. We wake up, put on the mask, and throw out a quick, "I'm fine" in the mirror. But inside, our hearts are screaming for help. Faith isn't pretending. Faith is also crying in the dark, with a soaked pillow, and still choosing to believe. This video is for you, the one tired of performing. Enough of the act. Let's have a real conversation. In many Christian circles, there's a silent but powerful culture, the culture of performance. It's like someone started spreading the idea that being a person of faith means always being okay, always positive, always confident, as if sadness were a sign of spiritual weakness. How many times have you heard things like, "If you're sad, you must be far from God"? Strong believers don't get shaken. Where's your faith? But the Bible says the opposite. True faith is not the absence of pain. It's the presence of trust, and even in the pain. And the Bible is full of men and women who went through deep anguish, yet were still used by God. Moses in the wilderness reached his limit and said, "If this is how you're going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me." Numbers 11:15. Elijah, after a great miracle, hid in a cave and begged to die. "I've had enough, Lord. Take my life." 1 Kings 19:4. Jeremiah, known as the Weeping Prophet, wrote an entire book lamenting the pain of his people. And Jesus, the Son of God himself, wept for Jerusalem, wept for Lazarus, sweat blood in Gethsemane. Pretending to be fine all the time isn't faith. It's fear disguised as spirituality. And often, it's loneliness dressed up as strength. Living with the mask of perfect faith is like carrying a suitcase full of stones while pretending it's light. At first, you might manage, but over time, every step becomes a struggle, every smile a strain. And the worst part? No one notices, because your performance is convincing. But you know when your prayer is just repetition. When you sing in church, but your heart is silent. When you say "I'm fine" and you're nowhere close, and it's exhausting. Exhausting because God didn't call us to be religious actors. He called us to be his children, and children are allowed to cry in their father's arms. When you try to keep up appearances all the time, you start to drift from God thinking, he only wants your best version. But the truth is, he loves all of you, the parts that shine and the parts you try to hide. God doesn't need your spiritual makeup. He sees beyond it. And more than that, he wants to heal what's underneath it. Performance isolates us. It puts us on a fake pedestal where there's no room for help, confession, or healing. It's like building a wall that looks great on the outside, but is cracked and crumbling inside. And here's the most dangerous part. That life of pretending starts to feel like the only life you know. You get used to the mask, and soon you forget what it's like to live without it. The Apostle Paul, a giant of the faith, went through times so difficult that he wrote, "We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself." 2 Corinthians 1:8. Yes, Paul, the same one who saw miracles, planted churches, and wrote letters that still teach us today. He also cried. He was afraid. He felt weak. And it was in that moment that he heard God say, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Do you understand what that means? God doesn't want your fake strength. He wants your honest weakness, because that's where his power shows up the most. In the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood didn't preach a sermon. She just reached out, and Jesus saw faith in the touch of someone desperate. Peter, sinking in the water, didn't say a fancy prayer. He just shouted, "Lord, save me," and Jesus reached out his hand. Faith isn't measured by beautiful words. It's shown in the courage to reach for God, even when you don't understand everything. You don't have to know what to say. You just have to come close. God doesn't expect a performance. He wants a real encounter. Maybe you're there right now, tired, confused, hiding behind an "I'm fine" that doesn't fool anyone anymore. So here's the question. What now? Be honest with God. It sounds simple, but it's freeing. Talk to him like you'd talk to a close friend. No need to sugarcoat. If you're angry, say it. If you're sad, cry. If you're scared, admit it. The most powerful prayers aren't the prettiest. They're the truest. Allow yourself to be vulnerable with trustworthy people. God uses people. Sometimes the healing you need comes from an honest conversation with someone who truly loves you. Don't try to face it all alone. Even Jesus didn't carry the cross alone. Simon of Cyrene was called to help. Tear down the myth of the invincible Christian. It's not a sin to feel. It's not a lack of faith to be sad. Healthy spirituality includes tears. The Bible says, "Weep with those who weep." Romans 12:15. If no one around you can see your tears, maybe you're surrounded by judges, not brothers. Remember that your identity isn't in your performance. It's in grace. You are a child, a deeply loved child. Even when you fall, even when you fail, even when all you can say is, "Help me, God." Faith isn't a stage. Faith is a journey. And even if today you're stumbling, God is still walking beside you. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below. I don't have to pretend. God sees me. Share this with someone who needs to take off the mask too, and subscribe to the channel. There's always a real word here for you.